I'm Lancaster all the way. How about Westchester? That's a long way, right?
Guys, I hate wake-up calls. I hate the morning. And I'm a product of a mixed marriage because when I grew up in my house on a 5, no one talked. It was blissful silence. And that's the way I thought my life was going to be. And then I married a woman who gets up every morning at 6 o'clock in the morning and starts talking. She's from upstate PA. Her father's a coal miner. She's from German stock. And she tells me my duties for the day. I look at her like a dog waiting for a command. I understand. We have 3 kids. My oldest, Sam, she's just like me. She doesn't talk in the morning. She's always late. My middle child, Brian, when he was younger, was like my wife. He would run downstairs, turn on ESPN, memorize every score from every game, come up and wake me up and start telling me, Seton Hall beat Villanova. I go, Seton Hall. Seton Hall beat Villanova, 64-62. And I go, Brian, he keeps talking. I'm looking for a snooze button on his head I can hit. Our youngest, Jack, was so miserable in the morning, we stopped having children. When he was about 4, it was a Saturday, it was about 7 o'clock in the morning, and I heard him outside in the backyard. And I heard this, shut up, shut up. And I went and looked out the back window, and he was pointing at a bird's nest. Because apparently their chirping was annoying him. My wife's like, get him inside. I go, no, I'm just gonna send him down the street to that guy with the lawnmower. So then it all hit ahead when my wife started traveling for work. And I had these 3 kids in the morning, and she was driving to Harrisburg. And so my daughter was a freshman in high school. My 2 boys were 5th and 4th grade. And my daughter would be late every morning because she was just becoming a young woman and was determined to show the free world that. So I would be arguing about it was called the cleavage wars. I'd be arguing with her. I'd give her a sweater, and I said, put the sweater on. She goes, 70 degrees outside. I go, put the sweater on. We'd argue about it. So I would have to drive her to school when she always missed a bus. And then I couldn't drop her off in front of the school where all the cool kids were. I had to drop her off a block away so no one knew she had a father. So I had to do that every day. My sons, we had this like soup Nazi bus driver who had everybody lined up. All the moms were there with the kids lined up with the book bags and all standing in a row. My boys were 1 year apart, and to keep them occupied, I had to throw a football to each of them. And they would guard each other and hammer each other, and they keep track of who got the most catches before they got on the bus. And God forbid one of them had more catches than the other, because they'd get on the bus screaming, it's not fair, crying with their face against the window, and the moms are all looking at me, shaking their heads. So one day I got fed up with my daughter. She was so late that I had to take the daughter and the 2 boys, I had to drive them all to school. So I'm driving my daughter to school, and I decided that's it. I'm not driving her anymore, so I just drive right up in the middle of the cool kids. And I knew that my music embarrassed them, so I put the windows down, and I said, what would be the most embarrassing thing? I put some reggae on. So I had the reggae blasting, and I pulled right up in the middle of the cool kids, let my daughter out, and then I did an Uncle Buck. Out the window, I yelled, no kiss? And she was not late the rest of that week. My sons, I had to drive to school, and we're arriving to school, and this thing comes on the radio, and the announcer says, this is a song from Warren Zevon tribute album. The album's called Enjoy Every Sandwich, and he explained it because Warren Zevon had cancer, was on death's door, he released an album, went on Letterman's show, and Letterman's looking at him and said, how do you get up every day? How do you deal with things in your present health? And Zevon said, enjoy every sandwich. So I tell him, the radio ends, I turn off the radio, it's time to parent. I said to my sons, did you hear that? Did you hear that? And Brian goes, I did. I'm hungry. And Jack goes, me too. And I just go, you know. So the next morning, Sammy's on time. And I said, we're gonna be on shape today. I get the bags packed, I get the lunches packed, we're gonna make it. We're gonna get on time. We're not even bringing the football, we're all good. I get them out the door, I'm so proud of myself. Jack and I are at the end of the driveway. Jack's the youngest, we're ready to go. And Brian's in the middle of the driveway just doing airplane spins. Whoa, whoa, he's spinning around. I look at what he's doing. He keeps spinning around, then he falls flat on his ass. I run up. I go, "What are you doing?" And he looks up from ground. He goes, "Enjoying every sandwich." And that was my wake-up call. That was 10 years ago. And I realized even then, these are fleeting moments. And I said, "Piggyback ride?" And he said, "Yeah." And I put him on my back, which weighed a ton because of the damn backpack too. And I start running down the driveway, and Jack can't be left out. So now I go battering ram, and I grab him. I'm running for the bus. And I'm like out of that Game of Thrones. I'm there, hold door. And I'm running down for the bus. And the bus driver sighs, stops the bus, and they let me in. Because we were determined, even though it was morning, to enjoy every sandwich. Thank you.